Well, it's Valentine's Day. Need some rom-com to review.
Those were up, and they did.
More smarts, and my...
He told me enough!
No, I.
Here's Chuck!
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yeah, so I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this is going to be the Valentine's Day special because, let's be honest here, I have honestly never done a Valentine's Day review or special on my channel. So, I feel like it would definitely be a good time to review a Valentine's Day or romantic flick. To get a Valentine's Day special on my channel. And for a Valentine's Day special, I'm going to be reviewing a rom-com I actually do like, and that is 2011's Friends with Benefits, directed by, I think, Ben Gluck, is it? What's the plot? Well, Jamie Rellis and Dylan Harper, on opposite coasts, break up with their lovers. Each separately vows to stay out of emotional entanglements. So when Jamie recruits Dylan to manage GQ's art department in New York City, as he's the only person he knows in Manhattan, they decide to become friends with sexual benefits. It works well until Jamie meets a pediatric cardiologist who might just be a match, and Dylan invites her to come home with him to Los Angeles for Thanksgiving. He may be jealous of the doctor, she may be sending new vibes in Dylan's direction, but can either see the signals, and is it inevitable that life imitates art? Yeah. How was this made? Well, in April 2010, Justin Timberlake became the first to sign on to the project. He was soon followed by Mila Kunis when she landed the female lead opposite him. Approximately 2 months later, Variety magazine announced that an ensemble cast consisting of Emma Stone, Patricia Clarkson, Richard Jenkins, Woody Harrelson, Andy Samberg, and Jeanette Elfman were set to join them in the film. 3 days after principal filming began, Brian Greenberg completed the cast. The film features cameo appearances from Shaun White, Jason Segel, and Rashida Jones. Production locations were set up as early as July 13th, and principal filmography commenced on July 20th, 2010 in the Midtown Manhattan section of New York City. Filming continued in Central Park and other sections of New York City from July to early August, where the production relocated to Los Angeles, California. And Paramount Pictures had dropped its original protest against the film after the director, Ivan Reitman, retitled his film No Strings Attached. Screen Gems then moved forward with the title Friends with Benefits. At the same time, Embassy was developing a sitcom with the same title, but the movie production company stated that due to its production schedule, they didn't expect an issue to arise. Screen Gems chose to accelerate production, fearing that they would lose their title into a competing Paramount project. Director Will Gluck actually spoke about the frustration of comparing the two films, stating, "I wish there was more. He wished there was more space between them. The thing that's kind of was irking him is that people were saying they were remaking No Strings Attached. They were not remaking it. The two movies were being made at the same time." Gluck, in an interview with the New Zealand Herald, stated that both films were different. Similar sentiments were expressed by Kunis, saying that it was just two different movies. There's only so many stories they could tell in the world. This was just one of the many. And the first trailer this trailer was released on March 16, 2011. The trailer has subsequent release on YouTube and attracted over 1 million views in 48 hours, becoming the second most watched video of the day and the most viewed video in the film category. Promotion for Friends with Benefits subsequently grew, including promotional videos from Facebook and Twitter. Timberlake and Kunis even landed on the cover of Elle to support the film. And filming began in New York City on July 20, 2010 and concluded in Los Angeles in September 2010. And Screen Gems distributed the film, which which would go on to be released after being shot and marketed in North America on July 22nd, 2011. And Friends with Benefits would go on to be generally well received by film critics, most of who praised the chemistry between the lead actors. The film became a commercial success at the box office, grossing for $149.5 million worldwide, against a budget of $35 million. The The film was nominated for 2 People's Choice Awards, Favorite Comedy Movie and Favorite Comedic Movie Actress, and 2 Teen Choice Awards for Timberlake and Kunis. As for my reaction, well, when I was originally unemployed back in early 2018, I had the whole house to myself for 1 week, and one night during Valentine's week, I decided to randomly go on Netflix and watch a rom-com to celebrate Valentine's Day. And I came across Friends with Benefits, and I just randomly turned it on. What did I think of it? Well, I gotta say, for someone who is not a big fan of rom-coms, with some rare exceptions, I don't hate every rom-com, guys. I mean, okay, I liked 13 Going on 30, and I liked The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. Those were the few rom-coms I enjoyed. And for this, what did I think of this? Well, I gotta say, for someone who's not the biggest fan of rom-coms, this is among the few I enjoyed. Probably one of the few rom-coms I enjoyed watching, and probably the very last rom-com I actually liked. Like, personally, I don't particularly like romantic comedies. They're riddled with cliches, not very funny, just an unpleasant viewing experience. I thought I was going to another cheesy comedy. To be honest, it kind of is. But I actually really enjoyed this one. It basically is a rom-com movie that makes fun of the cliches of rom-coms. This movie is cliche, but it knows it's cliche, with hilarious jokes and acting and a fun plot of Friends with Benefits not knowing exactly what they really want as a great cliche movie. I love this movie so much. It's really good and really adorable, but sadly, it does have the same exact plot line as No Strings Attached, which I have not seen, guys. But what are you going to do? I want to let you know how much I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it so much, and I grew to like Justin Timberlake as an actor after seeing this film. Before seeing this movie, I did not really care much for him at all. That's how persuasive this movie was. This movie is kind of about 2 people who randomly meet and who are put together through work and fall madly in love, but not in the way you'd think. They meet, don't like each other, become friends with benefits, hence the title, and they fall in love. This movie completely avoids the cliches of romantic comedies. I enjoyed this movie because the characters were good. The conversations that they have and the emotions that they would have were good. The chemistry between Timberlake and Kunis is really good, and you can see it on screen. Friends with Benefits is smart for a romantic comedy. It constantly pokes fun at romantic comedies like The Ugly Truth and gives them justice. If they would have started bashing Woody Allen movies, then we would have had problems. But they don't, just the bad ones. It's smart, maybe not all the way fresh, but funny, and the 2 have great chemistry and it's fun to watch. The film, even though it proves that romance can be obtained through sex, it bucks a typical trend of Hollywood romantic comedies, and it showcases plenty of fun-loving erotic scenes of bed hopping and good old-fashioned sex. And the bed climbing eventually becomes tiresome. Still, it's fun and different from the norm. You, as the viewer, will eat it up. Good supporting turns are given along the way as the form of Tommy Woody Harrelson, a gay magazine staff office worker, and veteran Patricia Clarkson is funny and sexy as Jimmy's hooker and alcoholic mother Lorna, while TV actress Jenna Elfman is a bright smile as Dylan's big sister Annie. Along the way, while dealing with family relationship problems, both Jamie and Dylan see that sex can lead to an attachment, and that grows to feelings and a chance for love. This proves that having fun in the process gives anyone a chance for something special. What exactly characterizes this movie from its previous related Neighbors is easy and undressed narration, but even that is not everlasting. Though characters make fun of this over-dramatization, the cheap romantic movies with happy endings for classic melodramas is an irreplaceable element. And finally, the film gets its drama, gradually adding tragedy as it is supposed to be, and on the other hand is presented not as sweet as it could be if we talk about classic romantic comedies, but with a sense of humor and satire. There are certain cliches that are necessary to be done. A lot of the credit should go to the cast, of course, because a film like this could never work if you're not rooting for the 2 leads to end up together. Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake, it should be noted, were not really the greatest actors around the time. Well, Kunis was starting to come off of Black Swan fame after this movie. JT was not exactly well known or not well regarded as an actor, kind of getting off from Social Network fame. When each one is alone on a screen, they would fail to impress at the time before this movie was released. Once they interact with any member of the excellent supporting cast, Richard Jenkins, Woody Harrelson, Patricia Clarkson, and even Stone in a brief cameo, Kunis and Timberlake are always the less interesting, less magnetic half of the scene, and yet when they're together, they have an incredible and natural chemistry, one that only the great couples of the silver screen could ever achieve. And they make even the sex scenes that could have been awkward with other actors feel natural and pleasant. and they make for a real and likable couple that you want to root for, even relate to. So much that you can set aside your cynicism and can forget that the scenario would have been different with two people who, well, don't look like Kunis or Timberlake. Most of all, though, it's even the screenplay that makes Friends with Benefits work against all odds. It shows real wit and understanding of the characters' age group. It doesn't try too hard to be hip and modern that it alienates the viewers and the actors. It's radiant with love for New York City, turning it into as major player in the story as the lead characters, giving the story a sense of location and reality. Most impressive of all is the dialogue during the sex scenes, which is more candid, realistic, and hilarious than you would ever expect from a rom-com. Where other films would stop short with these scenes and fade to black and blast up the music, Friends with Benefits doesn't really show what people having sex looks like. It's still a mainstream American comedy. After all, it does show us how they interact, and it's extremely accurate. Avoiding any matter of idolization or romanticization as a result is very relatable, and as a result, very funny. However, is there nitpicks? Yeah, I do have to agree the film is going to have a bit of nitpicks. Around the halfway point, the film starts to feel a little boring, with a running time of just over 100 minutes. Friends with Benefits is not really a long movie, and while it's not exactly short either, it feels shorter than it should be. There are a few hints to suggest that a longer movie was intended, but the studio may have forced a cut down. In addition to an ending that feels rushed, all the supporting characters in the story seem futile and underwritten. Woody Harrelson, for example, can be a funny guy, but he's not given the material the screen time to make his appearance worthwhile. Another problem I had with this film was how strange it was for the two leads to be playing against type. Usually Timberlake's the crazy guy, and Kunis is the uptight witchy girl. That's how we are accustomed to seeing those actors. Here, however, Timberlake is kind of a bit more reserved, while Kunis goes through a gamut of emotions from beginning to end. The chemistry between the two I mentioned was great, but it's awkward seeing them against type as well. And finally, yeah, it still has some of the typical rom-com cliches near the end, but it's still great to see those stupid cliches get made fun of, and show us why rom-coms do not work in the slightest, or in general. I mean, there's times when you got lucky with the two I mentioned at the beginning of this video and this, but rom-coms just don't work for me. And you're wondering, what about Knocked Up? Knocked Up's not a rom-com. I don't consider Knocked Up a rom-com. Yes, I liked Knocked Up. Not a rom-com, guys. Okay? I consider that kind of more of a dramedy about growing up. Okay? Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a rom-com. No, it's not. It's a breakup comedy film. There's a difference with rom-com and not rom-com. So anyway, despite those nitpicks, I enjoyed Friends with Benefits and usually watch it every Valentine's Day. In the end, I would gladly recommend watching and buying Friends with Benefits. If anybody hates rom-com movies and wants to see a parody of those films and see exactly why they don't work. Anyway, that's it for my review of Friends with Benefits. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Friends with Benefits, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you're not a fan of rom-coms, then don't worry, because this is one that is exactly worth watching and then going out and buying for your collection for sure. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Friends with Benefits, I'm going to give Friends with Benefits an 8 out of 10. There we go. That wraps up my review for Friends with Benefits. And once again, everybody, happy Valentine's Day. Hope you all had a good Valentine's Day, or are having a good Valentine's Day if Valentine's Day is still going in your area or ended in your area already. And for those who do have a loved one or girlfriend, happy Valentine's Day to them as well. From me to you. Until then, guys, that'll be it for this review and special. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this, want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.